this skill will be needed in the CV, all of that. But again, we want to be able to translate what we're learning to actions. We're still going to, all the skill set that needed for the artist, we're going to bring it on. At some point, maybe next week, we're going to group us to a group for a project, or maybe 2 weeks' time. Problem solving skills. At the end of this bootcamp, we're going to make it in-house event where you're going to present what you have learned, how you go about the project, so that we're able to also to measure the communication, because there's no use of learning something and you cannot pass the information across to the expected audience, all of that. So not to waste time, I want to give over to our dear brother who God has been using for this event. Brother Akulati, thanks, sir.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry for coming a little bit late. I had to quickly drop. I didn't really plan for the journey I made in the last, let's say, 10, 20 minutes. Okay, so let's kick off from there. Last week, we were able to do some things, but I don't know. We prayed or?
Sir, just pray, sir.
Okay. In some minutes, please, can we just thank God for what we've done so far? Thank God for what is going to come out of this. And let's thank God, because it's not everybody that started here. It's just the reality that is here currently. And thank God for your own life personally. Thank God for what God has been doing, using this particular course to do in you. And I am very sure that we are not going to regret that we have come for this course. And one more time, let's thank God for He will give us speed, and believe in Him that will give us speed today. Father, we just want to say thank you. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Once again, I greet everybody on the platform. Pastor Ejide, I greet sir. And
You're welcome, my teacher. Welcome,
yeah.
sir.
So let's kick off from where we stopped. Okay. So last week we were able to look at order by, how do you use order by, things like that. So we want to go further. We want to talk about single row function and multiple row functions. Okay. What are single row functions? So single row functions, they accept one or more arguments and they will return a single result. For example, you want to check for minimum, you want to check for maximum. Maybe you are checking out the highest salary. You are going to use maximum. Maybe you are checking minimum salary. Maybe you are checking the last person that came to the company. You can use minimum to check against the higher date, things like that. So let's look at how we can actually do that. And also we will talk about multiple row functions. I hope you can see my screen. I just want us to say that, okay, we are following the slide that I sent to you. So before we go into the practical class, this won't take more than 5 minutes. So the multiple row function, we said they take many rows as input and they return a single line of output. So where do we use it? The major difference between the single row and multiple row is for under the multiple row, you use, in addition, a group function. When we get there, we'll talk about it as we move on. Okay. Let's see. I hope I'm not mistaken. Oh, sorry. Multiple row function is max, mean, and average. I made that mistake. Single row function are the ones that I've used earlier on. When we're using uppercase, lowercase. We are going to talk about it more as we go on. I think I'm mixing it here. Okay, so let's pick up from there. Let's look at how do we go about using these functions. So I go to my command. So we use mean, max, and average. So for example, I have, let me see my employee table. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so this is my employee table. I want to know the person that has the highest salary. So how do I make use of that function? I can actually I can just put in max MEX salary. Okay, so this will give me the maximum salary. Oh, somebody will be like, why is it not showing the other details of that person? Yeah, I can actually add the other details right in front here. First name. Okay, that's where the group by comes in. Maximum salary is telling me it can't take it. Okay, if it can't take it this way, let's see. I'm coming, let me quickly do something here. Group by should give me the output now. Okay, maximum salary for each one of them. Okay, so what this has done is it picked the maximum salary for each one of these people. So let me explain. Let me bring out my Excel and try to explain, even though this particular example is not good enough for what I'm trying to explain, or let me just use it also to explain what I mean by this. Yeah. So, okay. So for example, I have Steven. So Steven for the first time has 50, his salary is 500. The second salary is 100. And the last salary is 3,000. So what I did, what it will do is it's going to bring out only Steven 3,000 max salary. But that's why I said it's not a very good example to use in this particular scenario. For example, when you can use it this way is when you have a repeated record of a single person. For example, you want to check, you work in a superstore and you want to check the highest purchase that someone has ever done, a particular person, or the highest purchase of each customer. That's when you make use of this. I know it's a little bit tougher because it's not going to get simpler, obviously. It's going to get much more tougher, but it's something that we can actually understand. But let me stop. Let me just start at, let me stop at, don't let us have this group by first. Let me stop at this.
Can I ask a question, Broccoli?
Yes, sir.
Based on that example you gave about a superstore, and could it be the reason why when you're using your ATM card in all the shops and the system has understood that this particular number card does not make purchases above a certain amount?
Yes.
And so when there's now a demand for a higher amount, they say, well, this is different from this. So, and they block and the card do not, will that be some of the functions or programming or the mindset for this kind of a thing?
Yes.
I'm just following the example you gave.
Yes, that's a good example. Let me flesh it up more. So there are some things that are programmatic, as in it allows you to, SQL can do it to an extent. It allows you to check. For example, someone that you have 10,000 naira in your account, or $10,000 or pounds in your account, and you went to the ATM machine to withdraw 20,000. How does the ATM machine know that is 10,000 that you have, that is not 20,000? So that is another very good example of checking before it does the transaction. So for such transaction, in the first class, I talked about a kind of transaction that is that are they are like they are like series of transactions that one, like all of them needs to happen successfully before you can commit. So such transactions, they don't stand alone. They do check-in, they do so many things. So the first thing that will happen in such transaction is when you slot in your card, if you have an account, it will move to the next level. When you type in the amounts that you want to withdraw, the next thing it does is checks if the amount you have is that you are withdrawing is less than the amount you have. It checks if if you pass that level, it moves to another level, checks even in the ATM machine itself, if the ATM machine has the amount that you are requesting for. If that is done, it will debit your account. When it debits your account, you get the alert. That's why sometimes when you are still when the ATM machine is still counting, you have gotten your alert. Why? Because it has done all those checks. Before now, what it does is it debits your account before it checks the machine. So that happened in Nigeria severally before they now like changed how this the sequence of transaction should go. So before they change it, what happens is it will deduct. It will now check. The ATM machine will now not have money. It will now have to like reverse the transaction. Sometimes it will not even reverse it. Later they improved it, it reversed it. When it reversed it, it sends another alert that transaction has been reversed because you could not get your money there. So these are series of queries that are being done. It's not just a single query to check what if a transaction is successful. So a transaction is not just a single query, it's a combination of many queries. Do I make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay, so as we're saying, so another way to check, for example, you want to get the details, the full details of Stephen, since Stephen is the one that has the highest amount. I don't know whether this would be the very good time to do this, but let's just jump into it. Let's just try. So okay, I know if I want to get everybody's record, this is how I get everybody's record. Select all from this. So I use this to get everybody's record. So we'll do a little bit of mathematics and logic now. I'm going to run it ahead of the class. We are still going to do this. So I've gotten everybody, but I want only the person that has the maximum salary. So how do I get maximum salary? I put max in front of salary. So I got the maximum salary is £24,000. I can write it in a simpler way and say where salary, since I know the maximum salary is £24,000, where salary equals £24,000, £24. So let's see. It's going to give me the full details of that person. Okay, that's Steve Kings, and it's just only one person. Okay, if I don't want to run two separate queries, all what I need to do is just the query that gave me 24,000, bring it. This is where we are going into logic and a little bit of mathematics. 24,000, Abby? I just want to change the query that gave me 24,000 to that, back to that query. I just put it inside a bracket. They call it subquery. So instead of running the two queries separately, I can actually put in the query that gave me a value inside another query, so that everything will just run at once. But this is far ahead of the class, but I just want to show you that, okay, you can actually do that. So let's go to the next thing. Let's look at how we can make use of mean salary, the smallest salary in the employee table. So we just type in mean. Okay. It's giving me issues. Why? Because I have this in front and this at the back. I intentionally did this so that you can see you can actually do the bracket. It's only when you are introducing the bracket as a subquery into another query, that's when you put it inside the bracket. Yeah. Okay. So minimum salary is 2,500 pounds. So my question now to the class, before I go into average, because I want to explain some things in average as we go on. So can we get from this table, sorry, from the, I won't want to give you a clue, sir. Okay, from which table are you going to get? Are we going to get details of employee? Obviously, employees table. So I want to know the first person that was hired in this company. Can we try it? I'm going to call people to share their screen. The first person that was hired in this company. How do you think you are going to do it? Let's try it and share our screen. Shall we? Boche, can you try? The first person that was hired in this company.
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Okay. Okay, so
I want to stop sharing so that you can share.
I mean, I don't know if what I did is correct though. Okay, let me share, sir. 1 minute,
Let's
sir.
go ahead.
Share. Okay, share. Okay.
Okay, let's see.
So I just did what we did last. I said if you order by higher dates to see.
Okay.
Okay. So, I don't know if this is it.
Yes, I just want only the person that was first employed, the first person. You got it, but the answer is it's not what our output. You got the idea of ordering by, but I just want the first person, the record of the first person that we hired in the company. So how do we go about it?
Okay. Let's see.
Or the date when we hired the first person. Just give me the date of when we hired the first person in the company.
Okay, so I can say select star from employees where higher date was
You don't know the higher date.
okay. Okay. I'm just looking at what I'm seeing on the table. Okay, I don't know where.
Assuming the table it contains 2 billion records. How do you know the first person that was hired in the company? You want to think about it? Should I call somebody else?
I think so, sir.
Oh, Roger Jeremiah, will you try? I just want to know the the date that we hired the first person in the company. Only the date.
That's an interesting one. I don't have the. Let me share my screen.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out how to just have this
Only
one.
the dates
Yeah.
that we hired the first person. Okay, so let's do it in English language. Let's try to do it in English language. First and foremost, what do I want? What's my request? Can you help me to say it in English?
In higher dates of the first person that you hired and what they
That's the only thing I want, Abby.
Oldest, yeah.
Mhm.
The oldest staff, Abby.
Yes.
I
Yes.
just want the dates.
Yes.
So, okay, first and foremost, how do you get dates? If you want to get only dates in the table, can you try it?
select higher
I think
date.
your E is W.
Oh, wow.
I
Select
understand. I put you on the spot. Don't worry.
higher date from employees.
Good. Run that one first. Good. We are one step ahead. So I can get all the higher date of all the employees. Am I right?
Yeah.
I want to get the first one, the person that was employed for. So I thought I just talked about two kinds of function now. Which one and which one? Can you remember? Can somebody help?
Of minimum and maximum now.
Minimum and maximum. So if you want to get the first person, which one do you think you are going to use?
Is it minimum?
Minimum. Put
I
min
do something.
in front of higher date.
Oh, okay. See what I did. Invalid identifier.
Oh, okay. You share your screen 1 moment, sir. You close the bracket. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Let's run it now. Can you see?
Oh.
Okay.
Can you see it's simple?
Yeah.
First thing first, whenever you want to do any programming language, any programming language, what's your output? That's what should be on your head. What's your output? If you know what your output is, try to break the process of getting your output into so many segments. Start from the smallest one. So the first one is, okay, I want to get the person that came in first into this company. So what is the simple thing I can do first? Let me get all of them first. That one is simple for me. I'll just pick only the column that I can use to get all of them. So if I get, okay, so what can I do to this to now strip all other people off and get only the one that is the first? So that's when you now, okay, maybe if I apply minimum, if I apply maximum, that's the approach I use in writing my query. So it's usually easy for me if I know the end out. I just ask, what do you want to see? Person tells me, I want to see this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And now start asking questions. If you want to see this thing might show two outputs. Do you want to see the two outputs? Do you want to see only one output? Person says, no, I want to see the average. Yes, I know that, okay, after getting this, I do average, I do. That's how you perfect your skills in any programming language. Know the output, the end result, and break down the process of getting to the end product into smaller pieces. Start from the simplest. Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
You are now doing skills now, Abby.
No, I was just checking to confirm that my subscription was right.
Don't mind. Pastor Jide, please, can I see your screen, sir? Okay. Yes. Functions are like, in mathematics, when we want to apply functions, we usually put it outside a bracket and we'll put what we want to apply the function inside. So the function mean is a function. It's going to be outside.
So that was why the first one, this one I did earlier, didn't work.
Yes, the mean is not the one that will be inside bracket. It's what you want to know the mean that will be inside the bracket. So the mean is the function you want to apply on higher date. So it's higher date that will be inside the bracket. Higher date, the higher date, I think the spelling is H-I-E-R.
Oh, that is H-I-E-R.
Yeah, yes. Higher is employed. E-R. Sorry, R-E. Sorry, R-E. What's happening to me this morning? Okay, so the mean will go outside here. So it will work perfectly now. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
But
So can we remember our alias?
See what I wrote in the second one. I was using a logic of equals mean.
Equals mean, yes. There are some programming language that looks like this, that you specify something like this, but SQL doesn't work this way. SQL takes in the function within the query body. It's not outside the query body. This the where condition is usually used to, like, you have so many, you want to now bring out one line or some few lines of record that meets a criteria. That's when you make use of our where. Okay, later on we'll talk about when we put functions down there, but I want it's not now, but it will even work on here. Having instead of using where, it's going to be having maximum something to be this, but we'll talk about it later. It's much more complex, but I want us to go step by step. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to call another person to help us get this one. Is quite simple now. I want us to get the date that we got the last person came into the company. Can somebody help us? The most recent person that we employed. We want to know the date that we employed the most recent person. Anybody? Probably.
Obedi.
Yeah.
I should share my screen.
Yes. Oh, sorry, you are not used to Bro Obedi, Pastor Obedi. I'm sorry. So we want to check the date that we recruited the most recent employee. We can't see your screen yet.
Okay. I'm coming.
Oh, you don't want to do it right in front of us?
No, I'm doing it. I'm trying to share the screen.
Okay. Okay.
Is it shared?
Yes, it is. Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll share it.
Good. So we've seen the most recent person was employed 29th of January 2020. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Any question before I move on, anybody?
I'm just trying to think of the applicability of this, and I'm thinking of Walmart as the biggest grocery all over the world, and I'm seeing how this could be used in the database of the list of items they carry.
Yes. So, for example, in Walmart, when can we use minimum, maximum? So, one of the ways we can actually use min or max is if we are talking about product-wise, we can actually use it to check for the cheapest product in a particular category. So, for example, somebody wants to buy maybe a kind of choco drink. So the person came to the cashier and told the cashier, although the cashier will not write SQL, they already have a front end that does all these things that they just click and click. So what the front end would do is it's going to write a query behind and it's going to run this. So I want to know the cheapest cocoa drink that they have in stock. So the guy goes there and just click. So when he's clicking, what it does is it clicks product, it clicks maybe category, under category, it clicks cocoa, and it clicks for like the cheapest. So what will happen is when it clicks category, when it clicks product, what will happen is it's going to do select all from where we stored all our product, where category is cocoa, and it's going to now pick the minimum price for drinking. So what will happen is going to pick the smallest amount for the drink, which I think we saw. But if you want it to go across so many drinks, for example, the person wants to know, okay, the minimum amount of coffee, the minimum amount for cocoa, the minimum amount for, let me share my screen. That's when we make use of the first one that I mentioned of max. Let me see why. Okay, so for example, I want to know the minimum. Let's just assume that salary is the price. Salary is not the price, obviously. So I want to know and let's assume last name is the product name. So I want to know this cheapest of each product. So what do? I type in the product. So I'm using last name as product. So it's going to be the product name and the minimum salary. But it's not going to work whenever you use a function, which is a group function, and you specify other columns, another column, you must always group by. You must always group by. And you group by all other columns that are not aggregated. So I aggregate in some other books, they won't call it single line function, multiple line function. They call it aggregate functions. Aggregate functions means that you are trying to check across so many functions, so many records, and you are checking for maybe the minimum, you are checking for the maximum, you are checking for the average, you are doing a count. It's not one record, you are going through several records. You are summing, you are finding the average, all those things, they call them aggregate functions. Whenever you make use of aggregate functions, every other column that doesn't have a function in front must be put at the back of the group by. I've seen people use SQL for years that they don't know what I just told you. They will put aggregate function and they will tell you the query is not running. When they run only this, they will now see this. Why is my query not running? Or they have multiple records. So I have last name, I have first name. Because I have added first name, if I run it, it's still going to give me this error. Why? Because for every other column that you introduce, when you have an aggregate function, all of them must be used with the group by. So what it means is, I'm going to use Excel to explain it. Maybe that will help. So what it means is, for example, you have multiple Steven. So let me use Coke instead of Steven. So you have a cola drink that is 3,000, another one that is 500, this one. So when you want to check for the minimum, of this product, you need to group by whatsoever the table name, the column name of this product name. So whenever I'm writing, whenever I'm writing the group function to get maybe maximum, minimum, or average of this, I need to write a group function to say, okay, group this one together. So I have Fanta also. Sorry. So when it wants to, I want to know the maximum amount for minimum amount for Coke, minimum amount for Fanta, for all the products. So I might have millions of products. So why do I use the group function? What it does is the group functions, it breaks this into pieces. So it breaks Coke separately, break Fanta separately, assuming I have Sprite, I have chocolate, I have all of them. So it breaks them into separate function, into separate separate groups. So that's what group by means. When you say group by, it means that, okay, use this one to break it into smaller pieces. After breaking into smaller pieces, now choose, if it's minimum you are using, now choose the minimum in each one of them. So for example, the minimum in this one will be 500. So when it brings out the output of this one, it's going to bring out only this one. It's going to bring out only this one. So you are going to have 2 outputs instead of 6 outputs. So that's what group function is. So assuming you have another column that is attached to it. Big, small, medium. So immediately you add this to it and you want to group by. You can't group by only this one. You need to group by only this one. And you need to group by this one and this one. So what it does is, it's going to break this one further down. So by the time it gives me the output, it's going to give me 1, 2, 3, assuming it's only Coca-Cola. Why? Because all these are different. So Coke and Big only appears once. So assuming if I have Coke and Big again, and I have 1,000 or 100, I have Coke and Small, another version of it, maybe 25. Do you get what I mean by group by now? It's trying to like bring together things that are common based on the query that you put here, the output that you want. So whenever you specify any column alongside a group or aggregate function, you must group by. You must group by. That's the only time it will give you an output. So I will just have this one at the back of my mind. It's something that we are going to do later. We are not going to do it now. Okay, so the next thing is we want to talk about average. So how do we do average? So I want to know the average salary of the company.
Sorry, Bra Kunle.
Yes, please.
I just want to ask that for us to get the let's say the oldest person or the newest hire.
Yes.
Can we also say you should order by the hire date?
Yes. So okay. When you say order by, what it means is you want to order by whatsoever the output is bringing. For example, I have this. I want us to see the beauty of what we are trying to do and see when we make use of these different things. So let's see. So I need to remove this so that it won't give me an error. So for example, I want to know the person that has I want to know the first name, last name of the person that has the highest salary and the salary. So these are the records of everybody. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if the report they told you to give is a record of everybody, starting from the highest salary, that's when you make use of
Okay.
order by.
Okay.
You want everybody's record. You do order by this. So it's going to order by, it's going to give you everybody's record, starting from the smallest to the biggest. But if they told you, okay, I want the record of everybody, the first name, the last name of everybody, that their salary starts from 5,000. Another condition has entered where salary starts from 5,000, greater than or equals to 5,000. And I want you to arrange them from the smallest salary to the biggest salary. Arranging them, when you hear arranging them, you know you are going to do your order by. But this is still giving me all the employees that have salary above 5,000. They are arranged according to their salary from the smallest to the biggest. But if they ask, I want only the smallest salary of the person that earns above 5,000. That only, when you hear one record, you are using a function. But when we say we want all records arranged in certain manner, you are using order by. Do I clear that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Please come again.
So it depends on what the report is going to look like. All these functions, you use them different times. But the reason why we are doing it now is to know when do we use what. So, you know, you want the record of all the sales, starting from the smallest sales to the highest sales. You are going to do select all from the table, order by sales. Why? Because you want to get all the sales. Or you want to get all the sales that are equal from the smallest to the highest. So it's going to be select all from sales, where category is equal, order by price. Are you getting the flow? So it is not that this is the only way you can do a particular thing. No. Depending on the output that you want. That's why I said you start from your output, understand what the requester gave, and you now start, how do I achieve this? Start from the simplest way, getting everything inside the table first. Now look at the conditions that the person has specified. I want only alcohol category. Okay, how do I put only alcohol category? Category type is going to be alcohol. The person now said, okay, I want the records of all the people that bought alcohol. I want their address. I don't want just any address. I want those people that bought in AB24. He has put another condition where category is alcohol and postcode like AB24 percentage sign. And those people that are white or black, maybe you have another column that stores the race of the person, whether it's white or black. You go to that place and race equals white, black. So that's how you just build on it, just understanding what the output is. You now use it to start writing your query. Did I answer your question very well? You are not answering me. Did I answer your question?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I was on mute.
Okay. So the next thing is average.
Before you go to the average, I was trying to run this one that you just did now. It's not running, giving me salary invalid identifier. So
okay, please share your screen quickly.
Okay.
Okay. Select this salary. Your spelling of salary is not right.
Okay. So okay.
You can see it under his road slash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so average. We want to talk about average. Average is spelled AVG. It's shortened as AVG. Average. I want to know the average salary of a particular company. I don't want to know all their salary. I just want to know the average salary that you pay our employee. So the name of the table is employee that we are using. I want to know the average salary. So I just do AVG, the average salary. So different databases use different things. So I'm going to try the other one that is being used. So their average salary, average, you know how to calculate average. You sum all the records and you divide it by the number of occurrence. Just like we can still remember a little bit of statistics now.
So we can't see your screen.
Oh my God. I thought you were saying my screen.
No.
Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. So it's AVG. So let me. So in some database, it allows you to spell average fully. So for example, you run it on database, it doesn't work. You can try the full average. Let's try it. So, okay, it's not taking it here. It's taking AVG. Or in some databases, you get this. So the average is sum of, for example, you want to get the average of this guy. Average is sum of this. So average is this sum.
Okay.
Divided by count.
8.
Of the same thing.
Yeah.
So if we do it manually, if we sum it, we will still get the same thing. And the count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do this. So this divided by 8. So that's what average does. And the same thing applies here. It sums everything and divide by the count. Okay. So let's quickly go into, I'm going to give one more problem statement and we'll go into other things. We've used 57 minutes already. Okay, so I want to see where we can make use of average. Let's quickly open it. Okay. Let's use other tables. I want to see other tables that we can actually use. A second. Okay, let's make use of, let's just do one or two more assignments and we'll move on. Okay. Departments. Let's see what we can do with departments now. Departments. You started Christmas in our place. Okay. So for example, let's quickly do, I want to see the first manager ID, the smallest manager ID. Can we quickly do that? The first or the smallest manager ID. I'm going to call you randomly to quickly share your screen so that we can just move on. So we'll now do one more average and we'll move on. The smallest manager ID. Sister Tosi. Inside the
Yes,
department
good afternoon,
ID. Good afternoon, my sister. This inside the department ID was the smallest manager ID.
I'm seeing, sorry.
We are not seeing your screen.
Okay. Share screen. You can see it now.
Yes.
Staff ID, sorry, you said.
Yes. No, manager ID.
Manager ID.
Yes. Inside the department table.
Oh, okay.
I want to see the first or the smallest manager ID. Okay, should I allow you and call somebody else?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me give you some time. I'll come back to you. Okay. Let's see, who have I not called? This is my sister. I don't know how to pronounce your name.
Data.
Data.
I'm sorry, I'm taking the call on my phone, so I can't share my screen. But can I try? Would you be select minimum
Yes.
brackets manager _ ID close brackets
Yes.
from department?
Correct. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it's perfect. It's correct. One more thing. I think that's all for. Is there any question before I move on? But do you do SQL before now?
No, I'm just learning.
You're just learning. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about. We've talked about concats. I want us to look at some other functions. And see, we've talked about lowercase, uppercase, init car. But we'll just look at it quickly and we move to the next thing. Can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
Okay. Where are you? Okay, here we go. So these are the functions that we want to look at now. They call them case manipulation functions. So we have the one that we use in manipulating case. We've talked about it last 2 weeks ago. Lowercase, I told you we're still going to visit it again. Lowercase, uppercase, and init case. And I'm not going to spend so much time on it. 2, the one that we use to manipulate character. So we can actually get concat a character, merge a character. We can actually get a particular substring is to get a part of a string. We can also get the length of a string using length. We can also get in string to get a particular, check whether a particular character is in a particular string. We can remove empty space at the left-hand side, at the right-hand side. We can trim both sides and we can replace. So let's see how we make use of all these things. It's not a function that is being used all the time, but let's see. There are cases that you might need to use all these functions. But before we do that, I want to quickly introduce what we call dual table. If you've done Oracle database, they'll tell you there's a table, a dummy table that is called dual. So let's see. So for example, if you want to learn and you don't know, you want to learn calculation functions, you want to learn different kinds of function, and you don't have the table that you can use to do it, there is a default table that Oracle has. It's called a dual table. So as long as you have installed your database, you are going to have this dual. So it's just a dummy table. It's just X that is inside. Yeah. So it's just dummy table. But you can use it for calculation, you can use it for all other things. So let's say example of things that you might want to use it for. Maybe you want to sum 7. You want to add 7 plus 8, 7 plus 8. You know, it doesn't really exist anywhere, but the duals help you to do all those kind of calculation. So it's not a table, it's like a dummy table, but you can use it to check whether your function is right, whether what you are doing is right. It's just an empty table that you can use to do anything. That's what the dual table is used for. I don't think we need to really explain much about that. So let's move to the next thing. We want to talk about lowercase, uppercase. I'll just move through it very fast and in neat cap because we've done it before. So we said, for example, you want to change all the lowercase within the table. You want it to display it. It's not that you are changing what is inside, you are displaying it as uppercase employee. Sorry, I missed out something. So normally when you do case manipulation, it doesn't change the content. It only changes the output, as in the report. So you just change this. So because you have used lowercase or uppercase, doesn't mean that Stephen will change to capital Stephen inside the database. It will still remain as in its cap like this. But for example, you were told that I want you to print out the first name and last name of all employees in uppercase. So how do I go about it? First and foremost, how do I print out the first name and last name? I told you, start from the smallest, the simplest. Let me get all their first name and last name out first. I'll now think about how I can actually manipulate it. So first name and last name. Yeah, I've successfully done that. So the next thing is I want to see it in capital letters. So how do I go about it? There is the function. Remember, our function is placed in front of what we want to manipulate. And you bracket what you want to manipulate. And you come here again for lowercase. You can't use it for everything as stretch. So you have to bracket each one of it. So you can do, I'm going to show you some things now. So can you see the output is coming out? The database has not changed, but the output is coming out as in uppercase print. So you can't do it this way. I feel, why can't I just bracket everything with upper and just do it like this? It should not work. If it work, I'll be surprised. So you have to apply your function per column. So you don't apply your function across column. Why will I be typing upper in front of everyone? No, you have to apply it singly. So the same thing, if you want to do lowercase, you want to write everything in small letters. And remember, we talked about our alias. Can we still remember? I don't want it to, what is happening? Sorry, it's just some noisy people here. I rarely see this here. Okay. So you still want the column name to be lower, first name and last name. That's alias that we had into it. So it has turned it to lowercase. So for example, you want to do init cap also. I hope I spelled this my init cap well. Yeah, it's correct. Init cap means it should start it with capital letter. Yeah. Even though that's how it is in the database, but I'm just showing us that it can also work. Init cap means the first letter is going to be a capital letter, and all of that ones is going to be small letter. So it depends on how they want your report to come out. I feel this is on, do we need to do any example of this, or should I just move on? I think we have done this one extensively. Can I move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we've been able to talk about those. I've shown you how you can use this to calculation. You just put your type calculation inside and it does the calculation for you. So the single row functions, that's what we are trying to work on now. So we've done this. Let's see the examples that they have so that you don't say I did simple examples for you. Okay. So remember last week when I was talking, some weeks ago, when I talked about if you don't know how Abel is written, you can actually manipulate it and get the person that his name is Abel. So for example, you know someone's name is Davis. His last name is Davis, but you don't know how it's written. So I now said select all from the employee where last name equals, remember when we want to do our character, we put it here, equals David. So if I type in, I know it's capital D, that is inside here, but if I type it in small d to tell you it doesn't exist, no data found, but Davis is inside. So I now say, okay, because it's not working this way, let me write Davis in capital letter. Davis. Try to run it again. It's still telling me Davis is not there. So, okay. Let me type it in its cap. Maybe Davis will be there. I missed the spelling. Huh? Davis. Okay, I missed the I. So this should give me the output. Okay, so instead of stressing myself and trying to know how Davis is written, I can just do something. Let me explain it again. I can just change this. Is assuming I want to write Davis in small letter. What I'm telling the system is here is I can use one of my single line character. I can just do something like this. So I say if I put in lower here. So if I put in lower here, it's going to give me the same. So I'll explain what I did. It's going to give me an output. So why did it give me an output? So let's interpret this. The first one means it should give me all the employee. Am I right? No response. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the first one says it should give me the whole employee. So it gives me the whole employee. So I want to narrow it down. I want only employee where they are, when they convert their last name into small letters, it should look like this. So their last name is written this way. This is how the last name is written. But let's see what we are doing here. In logic, is this true? Is this true? Nobody's
I
responsive.
don't think so.
responding. Sorry, is this true? When you convert, okay, in English language, if you convert all the characters here to small letters,
Yes,
is it true?
Yes.
yes.
Correct. But for example, if I do this, is it true?
No.
No.
Yeah. So let's add it. Let's see why the other one is working and this one is not working. Can you see? So what we are just trying to do is, when do we make use of this? You don't know how a particular character is written in database. You can just tell the database, give me, whenever, change the value that I have here, which I have used Davis as an example. Change it to lowercase if it looks like this. So any value that is in database, I know what is in database. That's why I put the value here. But normally this is what your query is going to look like. So anytime, check inside the database, whenever you see any last name, convert it to lowercase. Check it against what I have. And bring the output out. That's why I am able to get this. Do you understand what I just did? Or it's complex? Do I need to explain it one more time?
Mm.
Should I go over it?
One more time, sir. One more
Yes.
time.
Yes.
First and foremost, the problem statement is I want someone that is last name is Davis. So I know Davis, this is the spelling of Davis. But I don't know how it's written in the database. So the condition is I want the person that his last name is Davis. So first thing first, where do I get all the people? I get them from inside employee. So I write my simple query first, how we used to build up. So I do my select or from the employee. So I've gotten everybody. So I want to now narrow it down to Davis. So how do I narrow it down? I say where last name equals Davis. Davis. Oh, Davis. Okay. It's going to give me an error. It's going to tell me no data found. Why? Because inside the database, there is Davis. But I told you, content of the database is case sensitive. Davis will be somewhere here. Let's look for Davis. Okay. Let me increase this. I want to see all the records. So I should be able to see Davis now. Oh, Davis, where are you? Yeah. So this is Davis. But I can do this because I know the records are not much. But assuming I have 1 billion records and it's only one Davis, how do I start searching in the database to look for how Davis is spelled? So what is the best way to do this? All what I need to do is just tell my query, I don't know how Davis is spelled, but give me anybody that the lower, when this one, which is the last name of Davis, when it's changed to a smaller case, it should look like this. So it doesn't matter how it is written here. You have manipulated that from here by saying that check whatsoever is in the database, check the column called last name. So what the database will be doing is going to be checking through the last name, checking through the last name, checking through the last name. It will now see, and as it's checking through the last name, it's going to be changing all of them to lowercase, changing all of them to lowercase and be checking them. So it will start from, don't let me move so far. So it will start from, let's say Raj is the first person. So it will come, it will change. It will change Raj to replace it here. It will change Raj. It will change it to lowercase. When it changes to lowercase, Raj is going to be RGAS. And it's going to check whether Raj is the same thing as this one. Is it the same?
No.
No. It goes to the next one, picks Davis, assuming Davis is the second one. Picks it. Change Davis to smaller case. Checks. Is Davis the same thing as this one? Yes. When it's yes, it picks the value of Davis. Since I said I want all the value, it picks the whole value of Davis and it displays it. That's why, that's what we are doing here. Do I make sense now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I know for some people it will be annoying because they'll be like, this simple thing. But for people that are just learning, I understand very well. It can look this really, really bad. That I don't really get this thing, and this thing is difficult. But as you go on, as you keep learning, the good thing about it is it becomes simpler and simpler. It's in the next few months, if you start using SQL, if they told you that you were taught this thing in more than 10 minutes, you will almost eat yourself. Why did I get this thing? It looks so simple to people that have known it, but I understand it might look a little bit complex. But I want you to just whenever you're learning anything, don't look at it that is hard first, because that one blocks your mind from understanding. Look at it that is something that you can comprehend and try to break it down into pieces. Don't look at all this query. You know what this query will do. All of us here on this platform knows what select all will do. Select all is going to give us all the records of employee. So if I want to now narrow it down to only the record that the last name of the person is, for example, as we are all in this platform, let me stop sharing. As we are all in this platform, I want you to do the SQL with your head. Now, if I say select all from all the people in this platform, how many names will come out? How many records will come out?
10.
10 records. Perfect. So if I now say select all the record of the person that is first name starts with J, whose record will come out?
Jeremiah.
Yeah. How did you know it?
I can see the.
You can see because the same thing the computer does. The first thing you did was that you looked across everybody. That select all from star. When I now put the condition J, what did you do? You started looking at their first name. You didn't bother checking their second name. You started looking at their first name. So what are you looking at? You are looking at a column name. First name. Can you see where I'm going now? You start looking at the column name, first name, because the report that you want to get has narrowed your output down to only a specific kind of record. So start looking at their the first name. And when you're looking at the first name, because I said it starts with J. Before Jeremiah is not the first on this list now. But how do you know that it's Jeremiah? You scan through everyone, you're able to see the J, and you picked it out that it's Jeremiah. So the same thing you do when you're writing a query. First thing first, you look at the whole pool. You now try to narrow down your pool to what exactly is the requirement. So the requirement okay, let me twist it again. Give me, what is the first name of the person that his last name is Kupolati? So what do you do first? You scan through everybody. So which column are you going to be interested in first? Please talk to me now.
Last name.
Last name. So you start looking at people that have two names on this place. Am I right?
Yeah.
So last name is a colon name. You now be, the query you do now is now where last name is Kopolati.
Okay.
Do you get?
That's
Do you
right.
get where I'm going now?
Yes.
Yep.
So as you are speaking English, you are writing query. Just know this is what they want. This is what they want. All what you need to do is just, how do I now convert this condition into a query? So if I say, okay, give me the person that his name starts with K, and you don't know that my name is capital K or is small k, how do you now check? You now scan through, because you know that K can appear whether in small letter or in a capital letter. Whether I write it in small or capital letter, you can pick it. What have you done? You have been able to apply in your brain, you have been able to apply the function to say, okay, the function, if I, whatsoever the name is, however the name is written, whether it's small k or capital K, is still Kopolati. So that's what we are doing. We're just trying to write it in query format. So every query we write is just normal English. So if they tell you to do this thing normally, if it's not in a database, how do you search for it? If you can iron that one out, I tell you, you can write any query. Do I make sense?
Yes, boss.
Okay. Okay. So can we move on? Can I quickly give one or two examples?
Okay.
Maybe we can just lay our hands on it. So I want I want you to use the upper function. I want anybody that the name starts with. Let's see. I'll show you the answer, but I want the query to, I want the person that his name starts with Stephen, and I want you to write the Stephen as like this. But I want it to output Stephen. I want you to output this record. I want the record of the person that his first name is Stephen, but I want you to put in Stephen like this. Shall we? Do you understand the problem statement, or I need to explain it again? Yeah, nobody.
We understand. We understand, sir.
Understand. Okay. Please don't mind. You are here because you want to learn it. And one of the ways it can help is before class, go over it. The internet, thank God the server is always on. You can log on anytime. You don't need to, it's going to be cut off by the end of November. So you still have the whole of this month to be practicing it every day. They only give access for 2 months. Okay.
Okay.
Someone wants to share? Emrad, would you like to share? Or am I calling the name wrongly? Emrad? Okay. EKY. Okay. It's already sharing. Okay. Perfect. You are almost there. You are almost there. You use plus. Or am I not seeing it very well? You use, yeah. You did not put the function that I want us to put.
Between the star and select. Oh, really? Okay.
No, that should still work. No, you are correct, but you need to put a function in front of first name. with that explanation I made. So the function is going to be upper. Because we are trying to compare the uppercase. Yeah. But do you understand what you are doing? That's the most important thing. Okay. So what you are doing is, does any other person wants to share? You made a mistake. You want to understand it more. Anybody?
Yeah, let me share.
Okay.
I'm having small challenge.
Okay, let's start from, look at your error.
It's okay.
Okay, run it, let's see.
Okay.
Good. So whenever there's any error, first thing you do is you look at your error.
Okay.
For example, if you have 1 million lines, you won't be able to figure it out that where is the problem by going line by line. You go to your error, look at your error. It tells you where the error is, tells you the line or what you are not doing well. You just go and correct. Okay. Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
What if you're selecting the Stephen uppercase like we did, but you want the answers to be in uppercase?
Okay, you want the answers to be in uppercase. Good.
Yeah.
You share your screen, you'll be the one to do it.
Okay.
So you want only the first name to be uppercase, or you want everything to be uppercase?
First name in uppercase.
Okay. So what do you want to display? First name, am I right?
First name, yes.
Yeah, so it's not going to be select all, am I right?
No.
Yeah, it's going to be only first name. So that's why let's look at where we are, our final output. Okay, let's type in the first name colon. Yeah, okay, run it first. Let's see. So it's giving us the first name, but it's giving us in a small case. So what do you do to make this one to become big?
Do you put upper here?
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, but the reason why I didn't intentionally put you on spot, I just wanted you to see that, okay, I can conquer this.
Yeah.
I can just take it step by step. Okay. So, I think let's do a little bit of count, length, all those things. We don't usually use them, but let's see how they can be done. So I want to see, should I go this far? No, let me go slow. I wanted to do something too complex. So that's true. It won't help. So I want to count the length of Nina's email. So how do I go about it? First thing first, the problem statement. What do I want to do? I want to count the length of Nina's email. First, I need to know how does the email Nina's email displays first. Am I right? So let's start from the smallest. So if we are building it from the scratch, how do? You select all first. Where is Nina stored? Nina is stored inside employees. Am I right? That's the basics.
Employees.
Employees, oh, sorry. Employees.
Double E.
Double E, sorry. So I don't want all the employees. I want only Nina, this person. So let me get all our records first. Where Since what am I going to use to filter all other people off?
First name.
Thank you. Where first name?
Because Nina.
Nina. So I've narrowed it down to Nina. I'm calling it Nina. Okay. But I don't want everybody. The problem statement says the length of Nina's email. So let me see how our email looks like first before I even think about how to get the length. So that means I don't want all our records. I only want our email. So if I want our email, what do? I put only email. Am I right? No response, please. Open your mic.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've gotten our email. So our email, the count is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this brings about the next thing we want to talk about, length. There is a function called length. So let's see whether it will count it successfully. My spelling is not right, huh? TH, sorry. Length. Yeah. So for example, I want to see the length. I want to cross-check whether the actual answer is correct. So what do? I want to see the email by the side, and I want to see the length of the email. So what do I add to it? I need response. What do I add to it? I want to see the email itself, and I want to see the length of the email of Nina. Am I still?
You can add comma.
Yeah, first name, comma, or not, or comma.
No, I want the email and the length of the email.
You can say
You can,
select email
Yes.
and then command length email.
Thank you. Now it's just that simple. Select email and length of email. So I'll be able to cross-check whether it's actually 8. So this is the email. This is the length of the email. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the length of the email is 8. So the quick classwork now. Let's see what is. Give me the length of the first name of everybody. I want to see their first name and the length of their first name of all our employees. Can we quickly do that before we go to the next thing? Is anybody ready to share? Anybody ready to share, please? First name and the length of the first name of all the employees.
Yes.
Okay, who is giving it the shot? So we are going to build on it for all other functions now. Anybody?
Okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Correct. So, thank you so much. And any error anywhere? Okay, who is having the error? Please, can you stop sharing? Let the person.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Any error anywhere? Nobody's sharing. That means everybody's fine. Okay, let's move on then. Okay. So the next thing is, I want something like this. I want everybody's first name, their first name, underscore the count of their first name. So for example, my first name is Ola. So I want to do Olakunle 1368 underscore 8. So I want to get everybody's first name underscore 8. That takes us to the next function we want to talk about. We've talked about it before, concat. Can we still remember?
Yeah.
So let me quickly do that now. Select. Remember where we are going. I want everybody's first name. So let's start from everybody's first name. And the count of their first name, am I right? Length.
Yes.
Length. I missed it that again. Length. First name. So let's stop here. Let's see what we are going to show. So it's having this one and this one. But remember, I want underscore in between. So how do I achieve that? One of the lessons we talked about is we talked about concat. Remember, we talked about concat that we can actually use concat like this, that pipe. So I can either do it this way, or I'll teach you a simpler way that we can use concat function. So I can do it this way now. So I take off this guy. So I have achieved what I wanted to do. But if I want to achieve it a much more simpler way, how do I go about it? I can do select concat. Concat means join. It's a function. So you open your, in every function, you open your bracket. So what are the things that you want to concat? I want to concat one, the first name, comma. If you are concating multiple things, you put it inside a comma. I want to concat something that is not in the database, underscore. And I want to concat the length of the first name. All from employees. It's giving me error. Why am I having error? Okay, hold on. Let's do it bit by bit. Let's copy this guy out. Okay. So, comma. Why is it not giving me this guy? Should give me. Sorry, my daughter is trying to gain entrance into this. Okay, so why is it not allowing me to do this? Oh, It's because of this bracket. The function is, well, we'll find a way around it. Let's look at it this way first. So our concat actually, what I just want us to see is our concat is used to merge multiple things together. So let's see how we can introduce this guy into it. Let's see. Should be able to pick it. It's not taking it. Okay. Well, actually, what we want to achieve is what we're able to do in this place. I don't know why it's not taking the bracket in. You should be able to take the bracket in. Okay, should be able to take. Some functions don't allow other functions within them. So maybe concat is one of it. I never thought of it that way. But basically what we want to do is we want to like merge more than one thing. So for example, if you put last name, it's going to pick it directly. But I think it's because it's another function. It's not allowing us to pick it directly. If I merge it, concat first name. Oh, number of arguments. I've forgotten. It takes only 2 arguments. That was the reason. Okay. Thankfully, I remember that. So if I still want to achieve this, what do I do? So, I don't want to scatter your head, but let's just do it. That is doable. So for example, this is one output. So if I want to concat this output with the length of first name, I need to write another concat because concat takes only 2 functions, only two parameters. So I put another concat. I just escaped my mind. It will work now. So it's multiple. So it should give me what we're expecting. But I know this one might look
the first way is actually the easier one.
Yeah, the first one is easier. It's easier. So concat takes 2 parameters. So what I did was that, okay, the first 2 parameters, that's the first name and the underscore. I put it inside one concat. The output of that concat, I put it into another concat with the length of the first name. For some people, this will be simpler for them. They'll be like, it's just putting concat inside concat. It's like mathematics. It's like 4 plus 4 into brackets. You now put that bracket into another bracket plus 6. So it will do the inner bracket first. After doing the inner bracket, it goes into the larger bracket and until it executes all of them and it prints the output. So majorly, don't let this to confuse you. Just know concat is used for 2 functions. It takes 2 parameters. So if, for example, I want to merge first name and length of first name together, it can do that because it's just 2 parameters. But because I'm merging 3 parameters, that was why it didn't work. So for example, now this can work because it's just 2 parameters, just one. It can take only 1 comma. So if you're having several commas, it's going to tell me the number of parameters or arguments is off, something like that. So for example, if I want to add this other one to it now, to tell me the number of arguments. So it takes only 2 arguments actually. Yeah, invalid number of arguments. It just escaped my mind. Okay. So that is that. So let's quickly do something with concat. So I want you to merge the first name and the salary of all employees using this concat. Shall we? I just want us to do something. I know it's simple, just to see, okay, I can actually do something with this concat. Shall we? Who has finished? First name and salary. Oh, before you go on, let's look at it this way. I want to create a special password using the email address and salary of each person. So how do I go about that? I want to create a special password for each employee. So I want that password to be a combination of their email address and their salary. So it's going to be only one column that is going to be displayed, but that column is going to be a combination of email address and salary. Who can try? Just give it a shot. I intentionally made it to give you some, so that you just think about it, just so it won't be very easy, that just make two things together.
They'll still carry their first name.
It will carry their email address combined with their salary. So you were told to generate a password for all the employees using 2 columns. Okay, sir. We are ending in the next 9 minutes. Yeah, that's it. So 2 is going to be a combination of 2 things. One will be their email address. The other one is going to be their salary, email address and salary. Shall we? Who wants to try Russia?
Okay, sir. One
Yeah.
minute. Let me
So
try.
the name of the column is going to be password. So the password is going to be a combination of their email address and their salary.
Oh God. Okay. Wait, 1 minute. Let me just share.
You see, it's when it's very difficult that I remember your name to call you.
Okay, so I've said select staff from employees. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but Russia, it's 8 minutes. I know. After this one, I think we'll close.
so
Next week, by the grace of God, I'm going to distribute a project, and probably we have to conclude on those people that are going to be on project. I want to do like a collaborative one. So during the week, you do it, and it's going to be like your final project that you are going to present the last Saturday in November. We are going to try to close the class by last Saturday of November, so that we can have time to do other things. I don't want it to bore us. The more we extend the class, the more we get bored. And so we need to do a lot of read up ourselves.
okay. So select want to create a password. Password with
We want to create a password using each employee's email and their salary.
Okay, so we say select email. Is it?
Yeah.
Just select email and as a concat what is it? Salary.
Yeah.
Concat salary.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
as password.
Yeah.
From employees.
Okay, let's run. I think it should run, but you use the simpler concat. I wanted you to use the concat as in the spelling, the concat
Okay.
function. Don't worry, it's fine. But you want to try that again?
Yes.
You want to try that?
Yes, sir. Let me try.
Okay, please give it a shot.
Okay, let's see. Select concat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Open your bracket. Any function has opening and closing bracket.
Okay.
That should just always be in your mind.
Email.
Yeah.
Salary.
Yeah.
Salary. Some password.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Anybody having any issue with this? Please, can you stop sharing? If you have, you weren't able to do it, you can share your screen. Let's just look at what you've done. Nobody. Oh, thank you so much. So let me share my screen so that you see what we want to achieve next week. So I'm going to give you a project next week, but apart from that, I want us to come into class. I want us to we are going to move very fast. So can you read from 4.2 to 8.2? So if you are taking two chapters every day, it's always very short. It's like 10 pages. So every day, if you are just taking two PDF every day, you'll be able to achieve that before next week. So by next week, when I'm going through it, you'll have seen some mistakes. So for example, this is how you run through it. So when you are reading it, you see examples. You try to run the examples. You try to make sense out of the examples and say, okay, what are they trying to achieve? The way this the PDF they are written in such a way that it's very, very explanatory. So by the time we come to class next week, the one that you don't understand, I'll rush through everything, but the one that you don't understand, please just write it maybe in your jotter or somewhere. I'll pick it out, treat it more in-depthly. Why am I doing this? If we keep going in this speed, sometimes we'll not be able to achieve more than 2 chapters a week, as in 2 of this a week, and see where we are still going. We are still going to 11. So that means this class will not end till like February next year, which I don't want it to get to that point, because it's going to get boring and boring as we go on if we don't quickly pick up speed now. That's why I had to take my time to show you how do you navigate, how do you think about writing your query, things like that. Those are the major foundation that I think you need to know in SQL. If you are sure of that foundation, you can do anything. And I think I have tried to build that foundation, and I'm confident that everybody that is currently here can do that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Sorry for being late today. I have to quickly dash to the church in some hours time. So I was trying to prepare to do some other things. That was why I came, I think, 7 minutes late. But next week, by the grace of God, I'll be on time. Please come early. Any question at this point, or any contribution, anything that you feel we can do better, and whatsoever, before I hand over to Broshim. Okay. Since there's no contribution, Broshim.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Just like I've said before the class today, thank you for your patience in teaching. I also want to thank all our participants that were around today. I want to thank you all of you very much for this wonderful time. Just as what you have said, sir, so we're going to give project out, and we are looking at the skills respected from data analytics. So we're going to look at communication skills. That means that the project we're going to be giving, maybe next week, we're going to pair ourselves to teams so that we can also harness our teamwork spirit as well, so that we can also enjoy diversity in thinking and out-of-the-box thinking. We're working behind underground to see that the last event, the last day of this our class will be in person, where you present. We're trying to bring some of the industries. I and Brother Ajide, we are working on that, And also our instructor is also trying to do some networking from his own end as well. We're hoping everything works well, and we must also say that we're actually a step ahead. A lot of people are talking about the analytics, but we're actually doing the, sorry for what person. A lot of people are always talking about data, but we're actually doing the real work here. And please, I want also to look at where you can apply this, what you are learning. You can apply this in the health industry, you can apply it in the oil and gas, you can apply it even in the energy transition. I think I saw something in Aberdeen that they were talking about data something transition, even the wind all of those ones, even in the marine sector, you can apply data. This is what you are learning everywhere, every place, every sector. It just depends on you. On behalf of the church who gave the point for us to our creed, and on behalf of the leadership of Creed, and also thanking our instructor and all of us, we thank you very much. And please, if you are a student or you have friends who are just new in the city, there's also an academic excellence seminar coming up by 5 p.m. this evening. And thank you. I hope to see all of us there. Thank you. Good night and good evening. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Instructor, we are grateful.